Welcome to Talking Insights, the podcast where we explore the world of market research, data, and analytics through the voices of industry leaders across the globe. I'm Antonio, and this season I'm bringing you on a journey across Asia Pacific to explore the Esomar Renewal Tour. This is a series of regional events happening throughout the month of June. We'll be connecting with local experts and talk about the trends, innovations, and the unique challenges of the different regions. We're kicking things off in India. And joining me today are Sandeep and Priya, the two well-known voices in the Indian insights community. We'll be discussing the current state of market research in India, the new methodologies, and of course, what to expect on the first stop of this tour in India, Mumbai. So I hope you learn something new. I hope you get excited about the event. And if you want to know more about it, you have all the links in the description of this episode where you can learn about the program and how to get to the event. Thank you for coming and thank you for being here, Priya and Sandeep. Uh, um, I want to start this episode by asking a bit more about like the Indian insights industry, and if you can explain me how it is right now, like what's happening, what are the sectors that are growing, and what are some of the local challenges and opportunities that you see while working in the region.
Sandeep, you want to take it first, or should I?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay, so talking of categories or industries that are growing, um, I'm seeing a lot of focus on healthcare, tech, and wellness. Yeah. Quick commerce, of course, is always there, but that new healthcare, tech, and wellness is big because I think Indians love their food, love enjoying themselves, but there's also an increased focus on being health conscious. Um, whether there's talk of organic food, there's talking of eating right, what you put in your body. Movement is also another big area of work. Also healthcare in the context of aging population, right? So you have a lot of work that's happening about 60 plus and above, which I personally find it very fascinating because we're all going to live a little longer. That's my take on what's happening with the industry. Sandeep, you want to pipe in?
Yeah,
And yeah.
and as Priya mentioned about the vertical which is growing, I would like to add the mode. So in India, still the on research is mostly done offline. 70 to 80% of research is done offline through paper and pencil method. Online is picking up. The pandemic did help us to push online research, but it is still limited to IT, FMC, BFSI verticals only, and it's picking up. So it's mostly offline that's take the majority pie of Indian research industry.
So I just want to add to Sandeep's uh, offline and online because that's the dilemma and the conundrum, right? Um, I think India is also far more gregarious and social lot. So meeting people, relationships, talking, we always index higher on that. So anything that's online is seen very transactional, very cold, and therefore you constantly keep balancing that out. So I just thought I'll add that nuance to it.
Yeah.
No, but that's great, and that's kind of like what I was going to ask, like after this, like because my idea of doing research in India from previous conversations or previous experiences is India is kind of like a big community or a big chunk of communities. There's like a big communities, and then it just makes one big one. And to get into those communities and go there and ask the questions that you want for your surveys could be sometimes tricky, right? Or is it the other way around and it's just like once you get there, it's just super easy to get there?
No, I think India is many countries into one big country. So, like for example, if you divide it north, south, east, west, there are regional differences. So one needs to understand that because that affects your marketing, that affects your communication. It could also be the kind of products you launch in those regions and how it's going to have an uptake. And that's why you will see that Indian researchers are very adaptive. They can stay anywhere in the whole world because we just understand diversity and regional nuances. And that's why I would say that we make good researchers.
Yeah, and to put things
Yeah.
into perspective, in India, every 100 kilometer, the language changes, the food changes, and everything changes. So that's how, as Priya said, we are like 100 countries together. If you like compare by population, by demographic, we are 100 countries together. So the diversification is there, and it's challenging as well as exciting.
And I can imagine that even what you're just saying, the fact that every 100 kilometers the language change, it kind of proves sometimes as a challenge, right, for the researchers. And that kind of leads to my next question, which is about the technology, because I know that especially in Asia, like the translations, technology, like the translation apps and everything like related to that, is kind of becoming a really big thing. Is Are those types of technologies and apps and tools helping doing research in those communities?
I think a little, this is, I'm being very candid about things. I think we are still a little slow to adopt that um, because I think this human to tech is something I think we need to integrate far more. Because till we do it, till we use it, till we make sure that it's happening well. Because I think regional languages to get it right, I'm sure Hindi gets done well, but then we have other languages like Tamil, we have Gujarati, then we go to, say, Kerala, you have Malayalam. Now, how do you get all that accurate? But I'm sure there is available. And it will be a right step in the future because people are going to want to attend from the comforts of their office. Budgets are a reality for a lot of companies today. And I think the faster the research companies integrate these things, it will be better. Yeah.
Yeah, we are still to see an platform or technology or AI helping us to overcome the challenges like English. Yeah, vast majority population, young population is English speaking. So, but again, when we go to rural areas, areas outside metros, we need those regional languages embedded into questionnaire or maybe your discussion guide. So that's where Hindi, I think most of the software helps us in getting that Hindi language also. But if it comes to Tamil, Bengali, Marathi, those are also of sizable population speak those languages. So yeah, I think it has to come from both the side. The technology companies need to step up and build something which researchers can use, and researchers should also be very open and receptive to embracing that technology to help them do research or provide insight.
Yeah, because my idea is that it's not for lack of wanting to do to train and to learn how to use the technology, right? Because I feel like, especially in India, like the researchers kind of want to use the technology for their benefit. It's sometimes that it's just not there yet, right?
Yeah. No, and we're very technology friendly.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like, for example, using your wallet, your GPay on the phone, like right from your shopkeeper to everybody is using their phone. They would
QR
be making
codes.
reels, everything. That all is cool. But the
Mhm.
important thing is if you need a translator, because a lot of our work is in the colloquialism, correct? And getting those words and nuances, then you might lose out because marketing and comms and building that is around that. You lose the richness of the language when you don't have it accurate. Yeah.
Yeah. Is
Even
internet
sometimes
and
Google
social
Translate doesn't do justice when we try using that. So we need very the enrichment Priya is talking about from the on in those languages as well.
yeah. No, I can imagine you need like almost a professional level kind of translation app, right? Like you need to understand the different dialects, the different nuances of the languages of the different dialects, and that's the hardest part. I mean, do you use like different like do you use like the internet or social media when doing research? Is that a big thing as well?
Um, it is an integrated piece, according to me, today. Like if I would be doing, like we specialize a lot in business strategy, qual, understanding pieces. For me, doing a secondary research, scanning the social media for chatter is almost something that now you need to. And the second thing is also using social media in the sense that a lot of you could use social media to see the sentiments, right? Even on subject matters that are of interest to you, and build that in part of your analysis.
Yeah.
Especially because, and this like kind of leads to my next point, which is you can use social media to promote some things. And one of the things that we're promoting in social media nowadays, especially at Esomar, is the event that you're promoting and the event that you're creating in India, which is part of the APAC tour.
Mm.
And the first stop of this tour is in India. So can you tell me more about the event? What can people expect? And yeah, what's it all about?
Deep, go for it.
Yeah, so this will be my first event, and we are privileged to launch the Renewal Tour. I think it's something new. We are trying to do something different this year, and it's being held in I think 11 countries in Asia Pacific, and we are kicking it off. So there is excitement in the industry. I can see we have already gotten 100 plus registrations, and people are reaching out to us like, "What is this about?" And we are also trying to line up a good mix of speakers, good speakers who will speak, and then so the buzz has already been created. People are looking forward to it, and Priya and I are also very excited and looking forward to kickstart this renewal tour. Yes, Priya.
Yeah. So I wanted to just add that one of the things that we picked up in Jan when we conducted the Restec event in Delhi Gurgaon is that pride in research. And that's been a central theme for all our webinars and activities that we are both going to be planning, where pride in research is about being very proud about the craft itself. So if you look at the lineup, and we will be promoting that shortly, it's about people who've built brands, people who believe that insights has an impact into way brands can be built and shaped. How does our work get used and applied? And also the role of tech. So I think we're building our planks on that. And we've done great webinars as well to support and kind of build this thought, where we had the path to Prague, where getting a lot of people to write synopsis for Esomar. We also had Lucy Davison talk about storytelling and the application of insights in terms of how do you package your insights. And I think what Sandeep and I are very gung-ho about that it's great to have good insights, but if you don't package them, nobody will know about it. So how do you tell a story, package it? And these are things to one learns, once has to champion. And that's why at the very undercurrent of this would be the pride in research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Lucy's training, I've listened to it last year, and it's going to be like a mix of what she already talked about, but when it with a different twist. Last year was really interesting, and it touched on those points that you're mentioning, like the way that we do stuff, the way that we do research, and the way that we think about it. Sometimes you just need to think it differently, and it doesn't need to change completely. Sometimes it's just like think in a different way, and the way
Yes.
that she talks about storytelling it's definitely like really interesting. So I hope like whoever and can manage to go to the event. I think it's a super interesting conversation to have, because it's honestly something really interesting.
Yeah.
And so the event's going to be in Mumbai, right?
Yes. Yes.
June
Yes, Priya
4.
City.
I'll link everything in the show notes. But Mumbai, I imagine it's. I mean, I've never been to Mumbai, but I know that it's such a technological city, and people seem to be really interesting to talk about market research there and insights. So, kind of one thing led to another, right?
Mhm.
And my next question is, how can the research community build with this event? You mentioned the storytelling, but what other themes are you going to be talking in the event?
Definitely building brands and businesses, and how the role of insights has a powerful role to play. And it's also for the industry to feel proud that we're doing a good job of it, and to ensure that we talk about it. You always ask young students, they'll know about marketing, advertising, but you ask them about market research, they're not very, very sure. It's just one kind of elective in their course. But when they attend this, we're almost saying that this is something that you need to apply your mind, be part of this industry. What does this mean to you in a career terms? And how can you really be a practitioner? And I think that's the thought process, even of the local industry that we represent, which is MRSI, which Sandeep and I are part of, and even Esomar. There's only one agenda is how to get people to see this as a professional career and be grounded in that for a long haul.
Yeah. So interestingly, like most of us currently in market research as by accident, not by design, but we
Yeah.
want to promote now research, market research, as Priya said, like to bring it at par with maybe marketing, advertising, and market research, not as an elective of marketing. And people feeling proud, or like they looking forward to, the young generation looking forward to pursuing their career in market research. They see the glamour, they see the value addition which a market researcher or researcher or provide in the success of any industry or in success of any product. So that is the inherent intent and goal, uh, to be proud of like what we do, and promote it to the larger population.
That's such a cool sentence, to be a proud market researcher. And I think everyone should be proud of their job and what they do.
Mm. Mm.
I have one last question for you guys, which is, if you, and since you mentioned students, it kind of applies here. Uh, if you could give an advice to someone new to the industry, what would that advice be?
There are no shortcuts. Actually, true. It's quite a grueling job. Um, uh, at least I'm talking from the Indian scenario because there's a lot of travel. You have to understand mindsets, correct? You can't do it from the comforts of your online screen. Um, it takes a while to understand the business challenges. It takes a while to understand what are your requirements. Um, and therefore, some people do get fed up very, very easily. And therefore, I think it is the role of the seniors, as I would say, to ensure that they know what is going to be part of all this. And and I think that's been my thought always, and that's where I'm headed in terms of being very straightforward about what it entails, what should you expect, and how meaningful this work is eventually. And if we can showcase that through whatever we say and do through your podcast and research world, then it'll all tie in together.
Yeah, adding on to Priya, as she mentioned, there are no shortcuts in this industry, or what we do. You need to be ready to get your hands dirty, hit the road, hit the field, go talk to people. Uh, Insights can come from anywhere. Like you cannot confine yourself to your computer or a air conditioned room. And one of the great advice someone gave me 20 years back: don't assume anything in research. Don't assume anything. You will be always be proven wrong. So don't assume anything. Pay attention to details, and then and do the hard work. And that's how you succeed here.
Yeah.
And I just want to add to Sandeep because I always keep repeating, it sounds like I'm stuck record at time. Pay attention to details. And my one thing that I tell everybody, definitely my team at Ordmax and whoever I meet as young researchers, do not be an armchair researcher.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't be an armchair consultant. India is changing rapidly. And if you don't know how it is changing, and if you're not meeting the consumer, and you don't understand the pulse of the consumer, you will not be successful. You will not. And I think that's where we need to keep talking the same language.
Yeah. Great stuff. Do your homework, work hard, and be proud. I think that's a great ending of this episode and a great way to understand like how things are done in India. But again, like if you want to really know more and you want to network and know everyone that's working there, the best way is to just go to the event. I mean, June 4 in Mumbai. We have all the description and all the links in the descriptions of this episodes. And yeah, I hope it goes magnificently well. I hope you enjoy the event. And Priya and Sandeep, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your efforts in making this event happen and for being here. Uh, yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Enjoy talking.
Next week, we'll be in Japan for the second stop of the tour and also for the second stop of this series of podcasts. I hope to see you there. And until then, have a good one.